Starting a business with absolutely no experience. Basics. Now is the perfect time to start a business. There are plenty of opportunities out there, which is contrary to popular belief. Starting a business may seem a little intimidating, but it depends on the way you go about it. Since business is a term we are all very familiar with, it can be easier to set up one than one thinks. Many people have dreams of having their own business for many reasons. They want to make money and make something of themselves. Others want something to supplement their income. Whatever the reason you want to start a business, always begin doing it the right way and keep running it with good intentions. One popular belief is that you need tons of experience, expertise, and knowledge to start a business. The opposite is true. While it helps to go to school and learn the tricks of the trade, it does not necessarily mean that you cannot start a business because you don't have a degree. The important things to remember are you need to research, ask the right questions, and get the best advice you can. What are the right questions to ask? Below are 10 questions to ask to get you started. Of course, there will be many more as you go, but at least you have something to start with. First, you should ask yourself, how do you start a business without experience? Next is, what are some things you need to do to get started? The third question is, what are the legal matters you must know in order to get started? Fourth, what do you need to know about your target audience? Moving forward, 5 is, how do you commit yourself to a market solution, not just a small idea? Number 6 is, how do you choose your industry wisely? 7 asks, how do you build street credibility? Also, what is it? 8 is, what free resources can you rely on? 9 is, when will you need to see outside help? Last but not least, number 10 is, how do you put your strengths to work? Below, I go more into detail with these questions. How do you start a business without experience? Think about what you already know about business. Use your work experience as a guide. Maybe there are things you have witnessed or realized that was not part of your daily tasks which you can use for your business. For instance, have you ever listened to what others are saying while you're at the office? Whether you listen to coworkers or supervisors talking at work, there is most likely some bits about doing business that you have picked up on. You may not even be aware of some things you learned about doing business. Maybe you have heard complaints about what went wrong in the workplace, something you may have a solution for. Or maybe you have heard someone say, I wish it can be done this way. Even though it can be done their way, they may have been told they weren't allowed to. What are some things you need to do to get started? Research is the most important thing to do. First, ask the right questions. This is all part of the research process. You may research questions you need to have answers for if you do not know what questions to ask. It's okay to search on Google or Bing and quickly search for important questions to ask when starting a business. There are many resources on the internet or your local library that you can use to get started. Make certain your sources are reliable, however. If you are reading an article, you can sense the information is totally outrageous. Then you can come to a quick conclusion that it is probably not the right source to use. When reading any article, however, make a note of the different points it makes. Whatever is clear and understandable is fine, but whatever you do not understand, take that point and do more research on it. See if what was written was also said by someone else. Sometimes having a few people say the same or similar things can give you an indication the information may be something worth keeping in mind. Another thing you will need to get started is legal advice. Never assume that you learned where you work or what you think is okay is legal. Start off on the right foot and do business according to the law. You want to avoid being that person who did something illegal and now has a reputation as such plastered all over the World Wide Web. What are the legal matters you must know in order to get started? It is impossible to know everything about the law. Speak to a lawyer if they give free consultations and ask them what you should know. Ethics play a role here too. There are many gray areas which are prevalent in ethics. For instance, what do you tell a customer if you promised them a shipment by a certain date, even though you already knew there is a possibility it cannot be fulfilled? You already promised it, but you know it may not happen. If you say you are going to do something, you need to do it. That is the bottom line. Give your customers quality products in a timely manner. Do not always rush to get the job done. Sometimes there are moments when you have to rush, but don't let it happen if it is not necessary. For the most part, the only time you will need to rush is when the customer requests it. What do you need to know about your target audience? What are their interests? Do some research and see if there are any typical or general interests the target audience has. If you already know them or know their interests, then you are ahead of the game. Of course, since you are the expert in your niche, or should be, you will know a lot about their interests already. You can do some research on social media to find out what their interests are as well. Facebook has groups, and so does Twitter. Find a group related to your niche and observe it to see what people are talking about. Use this as advice on what types of products or services to market as well. The best advice for using social media groups to learn more about your target audience is not to join any group and post on there asking all kinds of questions. For instance, you don't want to join a group and then ask everyone to give their opinion about their favorite game or gadget. Just observe first, and then engage in the conversation as you would with a friend. Get to know people first, and then ask them questions here and there. It's all about patience. How do you commit yourself to a market solution, not just a small idea? You need to ask yourself certain questions before trying an idea to see if it works. What problems does your target market have? Once you can pinpoint the problem, then you can look for solutions. Most likely, you will not find any market without faults. There are plenty of problems that need to be resolved. Even the competition cannot resolve every issue out there. Many entrepreneurs begin with a lot of strong domain experience, but little to no business experience. Being in business is about finding solutions. That is what sets the strong businesses apart from the others. You do not want to sell just anything because you observe that it makes someone else nice profits. You have to have a passion about it for one thing, and you want to give them something they will resolve an issue they may have. This issue can be from something they bought somewhere else, or it can be an issue they have had for a period of time and need a solution for it. There may not even be a problem, so it may just come down to differentiating your product from the rest. How do you choose your industry wisely? Choose something that does not just interest your target market. You should have an interest in it too. More than just a little interest, you need to like the products or services that are out there in the market. If you do not like the products or services the market has to offer, how will you feel when you are doing business with the people who are interested in them? I would say you would not seem too enthusiastic to your customers and potential customers. People will pick up on that, and it can break the business relationship you worked on so hard to make. So please do yourself a favor and do not get wrapped up in an industry that you do not have an utmost passion about. How do you build street credibility? Cred for short. You need to let people know who you are. This pertains to building relationships with your customers, and since you are new with the business, You will build relationships with potential customers. Spend some time before launching your big business idea, learning more about the industry and the people who spend money there. You can always try selling other people's products first as an affiliate marketer and learn something new about the products you sell them. When you have enough knowledge, you are talking about the product online, such as your blog. This will help build street credibility, as the people who read it will feel you know what you are talking about. What free resources can you rely on? Networking is a great free resource. Talking to others in the industry and learning new things about it will be to your advantage. You should also ask for advice. Before you jump right in and start asking for advice, however, break the ice with some small talk first. Get to know some people before asking a lot of business questions. In fact, you can treat this more like a social outing because you do not want to only try to get information from people. This may actually turn them off, and they will not want to give you any information. Other than networking, you can also consider resources that are low cost instead of free. Sometimes universities offer free or low cost coursework, books, or seminars. I would definitely look into this if you are not sure how to network. Here is where you can ask a bunch of questions because that is what is encouraged at school. When will you know you need to seek outside help? As you should realize, you will need a business plan. When creating your business plan, it is always best to ask for help with it. For example, a gentleman named Ivan Solita founded a company called Cerebellum back in early 2009. His invention was a digital rear view mirror for bicycles. Naturally, Mr. Solita wanted to save money any way he could, so he used internet resources to create his plan and also draft his legal documents. With much frustration and use of a lot of his time, he then decided it would be better to pay for a professional to help with both tasks. The business plan needs to meet certain criteria, especially if this is a business you need a grant for or a small loan. Banks and agencies that approve grants want to see a solid plan before they take the risk to lend or give you money. It is the same thing when you or anyone else will invest in a company. You want to see their annual report, which gives you this information and more. You know that investing in any company is a risk, but you should not want to take too much of a risk. You also do not want to risk that your business plan is of poor quality, not just for your customers' sake, but for the future of your business. All the financials and marketing need to be taken care of from the start. Otherwise, you will need to backtrack, and it will waste a lot of valuable time which you could be spending making money. How do you put your strengths to work? Think about what your strengths really are. Is it planning the business, giving creative ideas, or being the solutions finder? Maybe your strength is marketing, but whatever your strengths are, put them to work for you. Work on the strengths first, and when you have mastered one, then you can move on to another. Otherwise, it will take you much longer to get things running smoothly. Putting a business together takes time and patience. Do not try to put it together too quickly. You want to be focused and organized, as this will help you to be well planned. A business with a strong plan is more likely to succeed than something you just threw together in an hour. For your information, now you know at least 10 questions to ask. These questions were given to you for basic information and a foundation to get started. Now, I want to give you some ideas as to what goes into a business plan. This is so you know what to expect, and you can at least try and draft one on your own. Remember, it is best to get a professional to do this for you, but you still need to know what goes into it, so you know if the one written for you has everything it should. Below, I'm going to list different sections of the business plan and explain a little about each section. The more you know about the business plan, the better prepared you will be. Remember, if you want to start a business without experience, this is where you can learn much of the information you will need to get started. So let's move forward. Not all business plans are created equal, but you will at least have basic information to include. Once you begin your plan, it will change over time. And also remember, you will not know everything that needs to be included, as to why I suggest getting a professional to help with it. Below are some sections you will want to include. Executive summary. The executive summary will tell the person reading the plan what you want for your business. A big mistake often made is burying this information somewhere else in the plan. The summary needs to explain certain things from the start, so you need to be clear and concise in the very beginning. Keep the summary short and businesslike, and no more than half a page. Depending on how complicated or detailed you need to be about how you will use your funds, may make the summary a bit longer. As a general rule of thumb, however, and since you are just starting out, you only need your summary to be half of a page. There are some other key elements that need to be included in the plan. They are as follows: business concept, financial features, financial requirements, current business position, and major achievements. These are not the ones I will focus on too much, but just something to keep in mind. Business description. Not to be confused with the executive summary, you usually begin this section with a short description of the industry. So this is not really beginning with just your business, but rather how the industry plays a role in your business. You will want to describe the industry and discuss the outlook and future possibilities of what will go on. This is all gathered from what happened in the past, so it is a prediction of what could happen or is most likely to happen because of business trends. Also, provide information about all the various markets within the industry. So what you want to talk about is new products and developments that will benefit or affect your business in a positive way. Make sure to get the most reliable data for this part and always list your sources. I'll talk more about sources later in this article, but as they are important, but I want the focus to be on the different sections of the plan first. How you will profit. The main reason for having a business is to make a profit. All business persons need to ask themselves, how do I make money? When you ask this question, it should open your mind and help you realize the different ways to bring in income. You do not need a huge section just on this topic, but you want to explain factors which you will think will make you successful in making money. Before presenting the business plan, you want to explain any equity and debt the business will incur, and also explain how this will help make your business more profitable. Also include ways you want to expand your business or make it grow using the equity or debt. As an internet marketer, you probably will not incur much debt or any at all. It depends solely on what you need to get started. Defining your market strategies. Marketing strategies are based on a thorough study of the market. This will help you become very familiar with all parts of the market, including the target market. Defining whom your target market is will be very important so you can earn your share of the sales. When you are defining your market strategies, you will need to, at some point, determine the pricing of your products and/or services. A market analysis will help you to determine the pricing. It is also important to know how you compare to your competition and if you can beat them in pricing or not. Market share projection. As mentioned earlier, when you are describing your industry of choice, you want to discuss the outlook and future possibilities. This information will be gathered on past happenings, so your projections are based on what happened previously in the industry. Believe it or not, Your market share projection is also based on your competition as well as promotional strategies. You can look at how much advertising is done, how it is done, and also research how much it will cost you to advertise the same way. You can always come up with different ways to advertise, but you need a benchmark to start out from. Position of the business. When talking about your marketing strategy, you will find it is impossible not to talk about the position of your business. What motivates your target and what they require will affect your company's position in the market. Again, there are more questions that need to be asked and answered to understand this better. A few questions to ask are: how are your competitors positioning themselves? What specific attributes do your products and services have that the competition does not have? What needs does your product fulfill for the customer? After you answer these basic questions, you can then begin to develop your business's position in the market and write about it on the plan. Pricing. I've touched a little about pricing earlier, but now I want to give you more detail about it. The price tag you place on your items, whether it is a product or service, will directly affect the success of your business. Strategies for pricing can be very complex. However, the rules are very basic and straightforward. You must be able to cover costs. Lowering costs will lower sales prices, and prices must reflect changes in the market and respond to the demand of your market. Prices must also be established to help assure sales. The longevity of your products, utility, and maintenance must be reviewed on a regular basis and adjust the prices according to the market. Prices are used to keep the market in order, so this is the last but not least important strategy to keep in mind when determining your prices. You do not want to just slap a price tag on something because you think people will buy it for the value of it. You have to be in competition with other businesses and play the game strategically. Distribution. This part is for you, mainly if you are selling physical goods. Since there are many of you out there that may sell goods on eBay or on your own website or blog, this is why I need to talk about this section. So what is distribution exactly? It is the entire process of when a product is manufactured to when it is in the hands of the end user, the customer. There are different channels that make up distribution. Having a strong distribution of products definitely helps you get an edge in your share of the market. The faster the products can go from production to the customer, the better. Make sure the products are of quality, though, because you do not want the customer constantly returning the goods. Promotional planning. Advertisements of any kind are all included in the promotional planning. How you distribute the communication about your business is also part of it. The way in which this is designed will result in attracting the right people to do business with. Some other things that you may not be aware of that are part of promoting your business is how you package your products. Public relations are also included here. Most of the things you are familiar with are advertising, sales promotions, and personal sales. Each strategy is different in its own respect, but very important in the final outcome of the promotion. Potential sales. After thoroughly analyzing the market, you need to make a determination using a quantitative outlook, which concerns your own business's potential. An initial projection in your plan must be formed based on the position of the product, price, distribution for physical goods, sales strategies, and how the market is defined. Competition analysis. You first need to identify who your competition is. Gather a list of companies that sell the same products or ones that are very similar. For this section, you will make a statement of your business strategy and how it relates to your competition. The main purpose of this part is to pinpoint the strengths and weaknesses of your competition. Knowing this will only help you improve the weaknesses for your own sake. SWOT analysis. An SWOT analysis is very important for developing your business and keeps it running to its full potential. For those of you who are not familiar with what this is, S stands for strengths, W is for weaknesses, O for opportunities, and T is for threats. You not only need to learn about the strengths and weaknesses of your competition, as you do with competitive analysis, but you also have to realize your own. The opportunities and threats are more directly related to your competition. You can look at it as the opportunity you have in the midst of all the competition and what it is about your competition that can be a threat to your own place in the market. Design plan. Investors need a description of your company's product design and also its development. Within the section, there needs to be a chart showing the development of the product or service. You will also need to include a budget showing how the company will reach its goals. Product and/or service development goals. If you are selling physical products, you will need to list the goals here. You can also list the strategies involved for reaching certain goals for a service business. Your goals should be centered on technical and marketing aspects of your products and/or services. You need this as an outline for your business partners or for yourself if you are a sole proprietor, so you know how to work on things to reach your goals. Budget. Budgets are very important, as you want to make sure you have the funds available to do business in the first place. You also want to have a plan as you make money as to where the money will go in order to help your business grow and to continuously develop and improve it. If you are designing a product, you need to account for all the costs that will be involved in creating the product, take it to production, and get it to the customer. As for service, you will need to make sure you have the money to get a business plan written, what equipment you may need to help you with your services, and if you need a brick and mortar building to cater to the needs of your clients. Knowing how each dollar is being spent is very crucial. Proper planning can only help your business, while poor planning is very destructive. I have learned that about half of all businesses started will fail within the first year. You can help avoid this with proper budgeting. Risk assessment. What risks are involved in either producing products or offering services? During the stages of development of your product or service, there will be some risks you need to be aware of. Risks involved with the creation of products usually happen with the technical development of the product. For services, it is usually in the strategies for planning the types of service you offer. Income statement. This is a very simple and straightforward report, which shows your business's cash generating abilities. It shows how well your company does in the financial spectrum and is a financial picture of when sales are made and when expenses occur. It helps you better plan for the future of your business as well. The income statement is a multi-purpose report giving you a bigger picture of how your business is doing overall. Always use this as a guide from year to year, and you will get an idea of what changes need to be made. Other sections. There are other sections that need to be written in the business plan. There is just no way to talk about all of them in detail here. I simply talked about some sections that I feel are very important to get started with. All the sections of the business plan play an important role in the overall planning of your business from start to finish. Some other sections that were not mentioned above are as follows: procedures, scheduling and costs, personnel, operations and management, and more. To find out everything you need in your plan, you have to talk to a professional and do a thorough research about it. You may not be able to include everything you want, and different business types require different information to be included in the plan. Conclusion. Even if you are not going to the bank for a loan or getting a grant, it is still important to have a plan in place to run your business. The business in a box idea is simple. People have been running businesses for a very long time, and so it is merely using the information out there from other people's experience to devise your own plan. It is also about asking the right questions. Even though there may be hundreds of questions you want to ask, you are provided with basic questions that need to be asked. Getting the answers to these questions will get you started on your way. Think about it like this. If I take all of these ideas, organize them, and place them in a box and then deliver it to you, then you will open the box and have exactly what you need to get started. Thus, you will have a business in a box. Checklist. Here is a checklist of the different things you will need to get started on your business in a box. The most important is the business plan, because you need to know what goes into production and what you need to get your services up and running. First, answer the following 10 key questions. 1. How do you start a business without experience? 2. What are some things to do to get started? 3. What are the legal matters you must know in order to get started? 4. What do you need to know about your target audience? 5. How do you commit yourself to a market solution, not just a small idea? 6. How do you choose your industry wisely? 7. How do you build street credibility? 8. What free resources can you rely on? 9. When will you know you need to see outside help? 10. How do you put your strengths to work? Also remember, the most important aspect to any business is to be well planned and prepared. The most important thing you can do for your business is to create a business plan. Ask yourself and answer these questions. How do I write a business plan? What are the sections to the plan? How will each section help me? Are all business plans created equal? Where can I go to get a plan designed for me? What else do I need to know? Always be prepared, as that is the most important thing when starting your new business. Think about how you learned to start a business with no experience by reading this article. If you read between the lines, all the information you need is out there. I have just gathered some information together to get you started. Nothing will happen instantly, and everything you need to do will require some effort on your part. This has been Starting a Business, the complete guide on how to start your own business, learn the basics, and everything you need to know to turn the dream business idea you had into reality. Written by J.C. Krause. Read by Todd Studer. This is Effective Entrepreneurship, the essential guide to focusing for entrepreneurs. Learn effective ways to have tunnel vision and stay focused on your goals to achieve success. Written by Steph Raymond. Read by Todd Studer. Introduction. One of the greatest challenges of the modern world is to be able to focus. It's undoubtedly a world full of distractions, which may prevent you from starting a productive day, staying healthy and fit when the temptation of fast food treats and inactivity beckons, or enjoying the calm and quiet in the midst of a chaotic world. Being able to focus will give you peace of mind as you take on the world at your own pace. It will help you simplify things and focus only on the things that will have a significant impact on your life. Once you learn to focus, you will value the smaller things in life. This means that you will become more effective in handling things that life offers you. You will only spend time on things that matter, controlling wasted time on things that have only caused economic, societal, and individual problems. You will learn more about focus, identifying things that matter, and valuing simplicity in order to improve your life. By focusing on small things first, you'll be surprised to learn that you're doing a lot for your life. Changing things for the better all starts with baby steps, from quitting smoking and eating healthy to being productive and being courageous and reaching for your goals. You need to take on one change at a time, focus on it, and achieve it. Chapter 1. The Importance of Stepping Back. Distractions of all kinds. It is the age of information, but it can be easily called as the age of distraction too. Although the human world has always been full of activity and distractions, they have never been as incessant as they are now. Aside from busy phones, people have to contend with email and social media notifications, open browser tabs, and beeping mobile phones. Even if access to information is beneficial, it also means dividing your attention among several things, forcing you to multitask to deal with everything. At work, with all the emails flooding in, requiring immediate response, the desk on the phone ringing nonstop from clients and partners alike, the reading materials from gadgets and paper sources. When you get home, you'll have to scan through 500 channels on TV, with 500,000 million ads screaming for your attention. The computer is on, where additional work is waiting. Social networks are busy with notifications. People are texting or calling, and kids or partners are seeking your attention. Although it's a good thing that the internet is growing and that everyone seems connected, everyone seems to be running out of free time too fast. Engaging in online activities seems to have become addictive because of the instant positive feedback that it brings. It makes you feel good to receive an email, get Facebook likes, or see retweets. But these things only end up eating a lot of your time. Being connected also seems to be naturally growing as part of a lifestyle. You have to be connected anytime, anywhere, at home, in the car, at work, and on the train. But everyone needs to control this new sense of connection to avoid excessive distractions. And when you do decide to disconnect, the society might not allow it. Yes, some people might applaud you for doing something different, but more people will likely feel indignant or offended, thinking that you've become too arrogant or that you don't like what they're doing for staying connected. To test your tendency to be distracted, how many times did you stop listening to this portion of the audiobook to do other things, to check an email, to give in to a visual or audio distraction, to talk to other people? In a world free of distractions, you would have answered 0 to all these questions, but the real world really is full of distractions of all kinds. Why seek focus? If you're pursuing life as a creative person, such as an artist, designer, writer, musician, photographer, and similar professions, you need the power to focus. Distractions can ruin creativity in a snap. You can't create anything if you keep replying to emails, posting on Facebook, or reading a blog. And even when you can switch between tasks, you will be able to do something effective. It will surely waste your creative time and attention, hence ruining your creative process. All the time spent on communicating with other people or entertaining other distractions is time spent away from your creative process. Being connected does not help in encouraging your creative power, as you learn new ideas from other people and listen to their feedback, but you need to spend time on creating and creating alone. You can do that by making time for each process, for communicating and for creating. When you separate these processes, you can focus each time on a specific process. Your time for creating will be spent actually creating something, making you more productive. Separate your interests and savor the time spent for each one of them. Aside from spending time for your creative process, you also need free time for the sake of your happiness, stress levels, and peace of mind. It's important that you be completely disconnected and experience real solitude. You can nap, write, run, read, listen, watch, or engage in quiet conversation with loved ones. Benefits of distraction. You can do a lot of things when you're disconnected. It will allow you to enjoy the following things. It will give you the chance to focus on your creating process. It will help you regain your focus on work and on other important things in life. It will reconnect you with people without any distractions. It will help you rest from the distractions of email, Facebook, Twitter, news, blog, IM, and more. It will increase your productivity and your sense of satisfaction. It will allow you to read books. It will help you de-stress. It will give you peace of mind. It will give you time to reflect on life. There are only a few of the things that you can achieve when you disconnect. So, how do you do it? Unplug everything. Unplug your router or disable your internet connection. Follow a scheduled disconnection time daily. Set it at a certain time for 1 to 2 hours minimum and tell people about these times. Find a place without an internet connection. You could go to coffee shops or public libraries without a wireless connection. Go outside, run, jog, or walk without a phone, and enjoy nature better with your partner, child, or friend. Shut off mobile devices. Do this when you drive or when you meet with someone to avoid interruptions. Activate blocking software. This will help you avoid distractions from the internet, so you can't always access Twitter, Facebook, blogs, or other sites. Connect and disconnect in intervals. Disconnect for 45 minutes, connect for 15, and such. You can connect to the internet as a reward for focusing on what you're doing. Don't bring your work home. Once you have logged out of work, make sure to focus on matters outside of work. Focus on yourself or your family instead. The unfortunate thing is that staying connected seems to have become an addiction, but you can beat that using these tips. Determine your triggers. List these things down. Look for positive habits that can replace the old ones that serve as triggers. If you quit smoking, you can take up running instead. Change the triggers one at a time. Instead of opening your browser in the morning, you can get to writing right away. Find positive feedback for all the good habits you've practiced. This should motivate you to pursue more positive changes. Find negative feedback for all your negative habits. Tell someone about failing to make the change and get negative feedback to discourage you from doing it again. Focus more on the positive feedback to reinforce your good habits. How to reinforce focus. Aside from making a habit out of disconnecting, you need to learn about focus rituals. These refer to a series of actions that you need to do habitually until you feel physically compelled to do them. They become special actions that you need to do. So when you have to follow a ritual, you can focus better and become more creative. Some of the rituals that you can try include the following. Spend your mornings quietly. Wake up before the other household members. Don't turn on the computer and don't go online. Enjoy your breakfast and morning newspaper. Run around the block or meditate. Do nothing. Focus. Prepare a to-do list. Start with the 3 biggest tasks of the day or the one major thing that you want to finish before the day ends. This should focus on the things that matter. Learn to refocus. During the course of the day, you might get distracted, so refocus on the important tasks at hand every 2 hours or so. Close your browser, go for a walk, and clear your head. Then, look at your to-do list again. Focus, then rest. Do this alternating exercise to make sure that you stay focused. Focus for 10 minutes, rest for 2, focus for another 25, then rest for 5, and so on. Focus on 2 things. You can do this when you have 2 major tasks at hand, but don't make the switch rapidly. Focus on the first task for 10 minutes, then the next 10 on the next project, or focus on one until you lose interest in it before switching to the other. Connect, then focus. Set a certain time to check your email or go social, then disconnect to focus on your creative projects. Reconnect for another period of time, then focus. Repeat this cycle. End your day right. Enjoy your evening by disconnecting. Perform weekly focus rituals. Review your week. Look at your projects. Edit your to-do list. Change your focus rituals to include only those that work, and review the rest of your professional and domestic life to see what needs changing. Chapter 2. How to avoid distractions. Controlling the sources of distractions. There are more sources of distraction these days with the availability of the internet. Decades ago, people were only distracted by the phone, memos, fax machine, solitaire, and coworkers. Now, people have to deal with emails, IM, blogs, online forums, social networks, news sites, mobile devices, Skype, online games, online TV, eBooks, online music, videos, apps, and more. So how can you control the flow of these distractions? For one, you need to be conscious about how much time you spend online. Choose what you want to do carefully and focus on the most important information and communications. Start fresh. Disconnect now. It also helps to admit to yourself that you can't consume all the information there is. There's just too much information, too many people to communicate with, and too many tasks to finish. Once you acknowledge this, you have to choose on what you read and how to communicate and let go of the rest. You may also want to consider going on an information cleanse by not checking your email, social networks, IMs, and favorite websites, not watching TV, avoiding your phones except to answer important calls, going online only to do the necessary research. Instead, you spend your time reading books and articles that you've shelved for a long time, or watching thought-provoking movies. Doing this cleanse will help you clearly see that you can live without being online all the time. So now, you need to choose the most important channels of communication. It could be email, cell phone, or Skype. Find out the most important news sites and blogs to visit for updates. Choose the right music, movies, and TV shows. Eliminate the things that you don't need one at a time per day. This will help reduce your distractions. Limit the time spent on even the online communications that you consider essential. It could be 30 minutes in your inbox, 30 minutes on your favorite blogs, or 1 hour of TV. List these priorities down and follow them to the T each day until it becomes a habit. Choose your responses. It seems like it has become a habit to always respond to emails, social network messages, blog comments, posts, and forum posts. However, this only makes you prone to distractions. But why do people feel that urgency to respond to things right away? It's mainly because of fear that people might think you're slacking on the job, fear that customers might abandon you, fear that people will see you as rude for ignoring their messages. So how can you get rid of these fears? Imagine yourself without those fears. You prioritize who you will respond to and do so not out of fear, but because your reply is important. This will significantly reduce the stress out of the need to send replies to everyone as fast as you can. Face those fears. Determine those fears and deal with them by disconnecting for a few hours. Then, see what happens, how people reacted, and whether your fears are true or not. Wean yourself. Now that you know how your fears and the urgency to respond are ruining your life, free few hours of your day, every day, by not responding. Gain more control over when to give a response. Break free from keeping up with information. As discussed earlier, the need to get the latest information or check the latest messages stems from fear. If you're scared of looking ignorant, think about how many people will ask you about current events or laugh at you for not being updated. Instead, focus on the important things that really matter to you. If you don't want to miss an opportunity, then control your need to stay up to date and spend your time on pursuing real opportunities instead. If you're worried that you won't know the bad things that are about to happen if you ignore messages, you will still know anyway. Family and friends will still tell you about an approaching storm, a possible economic collapse, or any significant event that might affect you. If you are concerned you might experience something bad for not being informed, the opposite might happen. You can spend your free time being creative. If you're really worried, read the headlines of your favorite news sites, then tune out for 2 days before checking these sites again. Repeat this until such time that you can spend more days being tuned out and see if something bad happens. You will then break free from the urgency of staying updated and enjoying your life more. Controlling your time with your inbox. It's a common habit to leave your inbox open most of the time, at home or at work. However, doing so will keep you distracted since every time a new email comes, you'll stop what you're doing to check it and even respond to it. To avoid spending excessive time in your inbox, follow these tips. Make a to-do list out of the inbox. Read your emails and list down all the tasks you find in them. Do it on a notebook, notepad, or program such as TaskPaper. Open emails only at scheduled times. Find the most convenient time for you to stay available through email. You could check your inbox 5 minutes every hour or twice a day. Work without opening your email. Do this to all the other online communications and distractions too. Don't even leave your browser open to avoid the temptation to surf online. Prioritize your tasks. After disconnecting from your inbox, choose what's important. Healthy distractions. When you think distractions, you might consider them all negatives. However, distractions are also good because of the following reasons. They can give you a break. Distractions can relieve stress from your mind and let you relax. They can help you forget certain problems, pushing them in the back of your mind. They can inspire you, especially if you are distracted by reading articles and books, possibly giving you new ideas or a source of motivation. They can be fun and even let you find new things to enjoy. They can help you refocus. So how can you let healthy distractions into your life? Spare a few hours of your day to focus on important things. Avoid communicating online. Follow intervals for work. Spend 40 minutes on work and 20 minutes for healthy distractions. Set disconnect time for hours every day. Find more ways to balance your life between focus and healthy distractions. Consider your personality and needs as well. Why it's hard to avoid distractions. While you may be set on letting go of all your distractions, it's not all that easy. The difficulties stem from the following things. You are addicted to distractions. You are compelled to know everything and get in touch with everyone. But you can overcome your addiction one trigger at a time, so you can control each one better. Think about how cravings and urges will go away. Endure them, and then try to replace them with a good habit. Answer your emotional need. Since you can no longer do the distractions that fill your emotional need, such as the need to be entertained by reading blogs or to be satisfied when you see social network messages, likes or retweets, find other ways to fill the void. Instead of recognition from your distractions, seek real recognition. Avoid feeling bored. Pursue a real passion instead of playing online games. Address your fears. Be honest with what those fears are and confront them. Try to see just how real those fears are by doing a test, by letting go of your distractions for real. You will likely see there's no ground for your fears. Deal with your desires. Find out what those desires are. If you dream of blogging or tweeting while building followers, if you are determined to reach these goals, then devote your time to doing such things online. But if you're not really aiming for these things, then you better spend your time on more important things. If your desire requires that you deal with the online distractions, just make sure to constantly remind yourself what you need to do and what you have to avoid. Chapter 3. How to Simplify Everything. Clearing the Clutter. Imagine working on a cluttered desk in an untidy room while fielding busy phones, social network, and email notifications popping up, someone contacting you on IM, and other people calling your attention. Would you still be able to effectively get on with work? You might not amidst all this clutter. That's why you need to clear your desk, your desktop wall without any icons, and minimal decorations on the walls. It helps to listen to ambient music to drown out distractions. You can get started by making small steps such as the following. Tidy up your desk. Choose only 5 of the most important items to be placed on your desk. It could be your computer, a photo frame, water bottle, and paperwork. Wipe your desk free of dust. Put the other items away or on the floor. Sort through the papers on the desk and file them later. Deactivate computer notifications. Familiarize yourself with the settings on your email, IM, mobile device, social networks, and calendar to turn off notifications that might interrupt your work. Unplug your phone or use the Do Not Disturb mode to focus. Listen to soothing music and use headphones. Buy a CD or go to iTunes to build your collection of relaxing music that will put you in a peaceful mood. Headphones will also drown the surrounding noise. Don't put too many icons on your desktop. Remove all application shortcuts and use the Launcher program instead. That will only require you to type the name of the program, folder, or file that you want to open after a few keystroke combinations. Store all your files into My Documents and hide the rest of the icons. Declutter your walls and floors. Sort through all the things on the floor and keep those things that you need out of sight. Do the same thing to your walls while keeping only valuable family photos or artwork on them. Do these things one small step at a time, and you'll eventually see a major change. Take it slow. Living a fast-paced life seems to be everyone's game. It's common for people to multitask and switch between tasks, but doing this might be counterproductive. If you want to create great things, you need to slow down. Rushing everything will only make more room for errors. Move slow and accomplish the right things. Slowing down will also benefit you by being able to focus better and deeper, which will lead you to appreciate things, time, and people. When you learn to appreciate, you'll know how to enjoy life. All in all, life will be less stressful and more peaceful. The first step towards slowing down is to change your mindset. You have to understand and get a taste of what it feels like to live life slowly and to savor every moment. Admit to yourself just how much better life gets if you learn to take it slow. To pursue life slowly, you need to do these things. Reduce your to-do list to the most essential tasks, about 1 to 3 of them. Do them before doing other routine tasks. Schedule fewer meetings and focus longer amounts of time on the important things, instead of being shuttled from one meeting to the next. Disconnect at times. Start disconnecting for short periods of time until you can do it for a day and indulge in your creativity. Practice not rushing to get to appointments. Give yourself enough time to prepare for and travel to appointments instead of cramming things to your schedule. Savor being lazy at times. Feel comfortable and enjoy doing nothing until you get used to it. Know that failing to get things done is all right. You don't have to be frustrated and disappointed every time you have unfinished business. Get rid of the fluff. Eliminate, automate, or delegate them to others. Be conscious of what you do, who you meet, what your surroundings look like, and more. Don't overcommit. Choose 4 to 5 essential commitments and let go of the rest. You will feel happier and more satisfied if you don't rush everything in life. Go with the flow. No matter how much you plan your life, there are things that are simply out of your control. But don't get angry or disappointed because it will only stress you out and ruin your day. Instead, learn to embrace these things and go with the flow. Then, focus on your dynamic environment. It helps to do these things. Admit that you can't do everything. Be conscious to warrant change. Take a deep breath every time you feel frustrated, angry, or stressed. Get perspective to learn to let go of things that you can't control. Practice going with the flow until you excel at it. Laugh it off, even if it doesn't seem funny. Know that you can't control other people. Acknowledge imperfection and change. See life as a dynamic machine. Life is ever-changing. Don't fight it. Doing things effortlessly. To achieve the power of focus, you need to learn how to do things effortlessly. It's not always right to address your difficulties at work by giving in to your distractions just to avoid dealing with the former. Instead, flow like the water, effortless in its movement. It follows gravity and the contours of the landscape that it passes through. It doesn't force things, yet it's powerful and graceful. Learn how to be effortless by keeping these tips in mind. Do something out of passion. When you're about to do something you don't like, change course and find something that you do like while still getting to the same destination. Don't force your control over uncontrollable things. Feel the moment. Keep an eye open to all the possibilities. Consider them all instead of fearing all the choices and following your intuition. Be flexible. Find the sweet spot to maximize effectiveness and minimize effort. Do less and do them with less effort. Confront the difficult and deal with the easy things now. Sorting through priorities. For many people, it's hard to find focus because there are too many things that they are trying to accomplish all at once. That's why you need to learn to prioritize things. Start with reducing your tasks. Choose the 5 most important tasks in your to-do list and deal with them first. Devote a block of your day to doing the rest of the routine tasks. Among the most essential tasks, start with the one that excites you the most and the one that will have the biggest impact on your life. Settle with a single task at a time. Eliminate all distractions. Start working on it for a whole of 10 minutes. Take a break, then focus on it for 10 minutes or longer until you get the momentum of things. Breaking free from goals. When you eliminate less important tasks, this also means that you have to let go of certain goals. You need to do that due to the following reasons. They are forcing you to work, not because you love it, but because you need to follow your goals. They might constrain and stop you from achieving other things outside of your goals. They might pressure to get all your goals done. They might discourage you if you fail to get them done. They might stop you from living the moment as you keep looking forward to the future. Instead of ticking off goals one by one from your list, you can do things that excite you. You can live in the present without worrying about where you'll be a few months or years from now. You can have the luxury of doing what's natural, not what's forced upon you by your goals. And the biggest benefit of breaking free from the need to always set goals is to focus on the present and savor it. Simplify your life by clearing the clutter, taking it slow, going with the flow, doing things effortlessly, prioritizing things, and letting go of your goals. Chapter 4. How to will yourself to focus. Pursuing single tasks and improving productivity. Multitasking is often associated with being productive, but now it has become a way of life. It's not really a productive way of working. For one, it makes you inefficient for having to switch between tasks. It can complicate things as you suffer from stress and commit errors. It can also make you insane as you deal with the chaos of multitasking when your brain is designed only to handle one thing. That's why it's best to settle with single tasks. Your mind will be focused on one thing and one thing alone. Imagine how joyful it would be to savor one task, such as reading a novel, eating breakfast, or spending time with your family. This will also benefit you in that you can focus better, improve your effectiveness, develop your expertise in what you do, and produce quality work. It also feels good to lose yourself in something that you feel is worth doing. You can lead a life full of single tasks by doing these things. Be aware of the things that you are doing, right from when you start doing it. Stop yourself from switching to another thing. Eliminate distractions. If you're going to research, focus on it alone. If you're going to read a book, do nothing except read the book. Choose your tasks wisely. Always ask yourself, am I doing something worthwhile? If not, proceed with the important tasks. Pour your everything into the task at hand. If you're going to talk with friends, talk and listen. If you're going to lose weight, eat healthy and exercise as much as you can. Practice. Once you get your drive going, practice it every single day until you're good at it. But how can you boost your productivity if you choose single tasks? Choose only the biggest and most important tasks every day, the ones that you really need to finish to create an impact on your work and life in general. Don't go straight to your distractions first thing in the morning. Instead, prepare a to-do list. Get rid of distractions. Finish your tasks one by one. Stop yourself when you feel the temptation to check your inbox or log into your social network accounts. Don't stop doing the most important tasks until they are done. Take note of things that you can't do now or think of doing later so you won't forget them. Take a break and de-stress by breathing deeply in and out. Benefits of smaller work focus. Granted that you now know a bit on how to focus, you still have a lot of work to do. For starters, you need to narrow down your focus. It's not right to work with a broad focus. This could be overcommitting to too many projects at once, trying to please all of your customers, doing everything for everybody, being available for contact all the time in both online and offline channels, and more. Instead, you need to narrow your focus by identifying your priorities. Let go of one unnecessary task at a time. Do less. Include fewer features. Learn to say no to some people's requests. Accept that you can't please everybody. Focus on fewer things, things that do matter. How to focus on reading and research. You can do more work, especially with work that involves a lot of reading and research, if you know how to avoid distractions when you're reading. So, how can you focus on long blogs or articles? To finish long reading materials without being interrupted frequently, put your reading material in a separate window without any other tabs open. Expand that window to cover the rest of the screen and show the blog or article on your computer screen alone. Don't switch to other windows or programs until you're done reading. Do the same thing with books. Hold your book and put your computer, laptop, or any other mobile device out of your sight. Read in a quiet place and enjoy the experience. When you do research, don't open your emails, social networks, and irrelevant windows, tabs, or programs. Search about the topic that you're interested in and open the web pages that you found. Skim these pages and open the relevant links. Repeat these with the new online sources. Open all the necessary articles, then read them one by one. Take notes after reading each article and bookmark some. This will help you focus when you do research, despite being online. Benefits of walking on disconnection and focus. Did you know that you can boost your productivity immensely by walking, aside from staying healthy and slim? You can follow this walking routine to help you regain your focus. Walk for about 30 minutes to a destination, a library, park, coffee shop, or cafe. Don't connect online. Read or work for 40 minutes, from writing and reading to taking notes or responding to emails. You can insert some snacking in there too. Repeat this schedule. Walking and disconnecting are worth trying because you can refocus and can think better after sitting all day long. It will also help you clear your head, enjoy what nature has to offer, and take a break from stress. It will even help you improve physically. After walking, you'll know how to focus on work again and waste less time on distractions. Chapter 5. How people with various roles can focus. How parents can find focus. A parent's life is never quiet. You have kids demanding, screaming, squealing, crying, and playing at home, so it's even more difficult for parents to find focus and peace of mind. One way to get focus to work for your life as parents is to separate your roles. Assign them to different days or weeks and focus on each role one at a time. For instance, you have to wake up early in the morning before the kids wake up and focus on yourself. Run, jog, walk, read a book, do yoga, or indulge in your creative side by drawing or writing. Once the kids wake up, prepare them for school while you prepare for work, pack lunches, and more. But this time, focus on being a parent and give time to talk to your kids. Before the morning ends, go to work and focus on work alone. In the afternoon, you can finish all household duties or finish work, depending on which is more important. In early evening, focus on yourself once more while your kids finish homework. In the late evening, tuck your kids in bed. Read to the young ones if you can. These are only a few examples of what parents can do to focus. Learn to schedule things so you won't get off track. However, be flexible enough to accommodate last-minute changes. Deal with these surprises and interruptions instead of stressing over them. Parents with babies and toddlers might struggle even more because these young children are more demanding. The best thing that you can do is to share the work between both parents. When one is watching the child, the other should be taking a break. During your break, take your time to go for a walk, read, exercise, and engage in your hobbies. It helps if you take nap times. Cherish the quiet times before your child wakes up and when your child is asleep. You may also want to get professional help. Send your child to daycare. Let the grandparents help in babysitting, or entrust the child to a reliable niece or nephew. Even if these mean paying for babysitting services, it would be worth it if it means you getting some peace and quiet. If you're the type of parent who is used to being disconnected, you might not be able to focus on your child. You might start by taking a few seconds off your bonding time with your child to check an email or a text message, answer a call, or log in to social networks. But this kind of behavior will teach your child how your distractions are more important than they are. While many parents are guilty of this, you can fight it by always being conscious of what you're doing. Take precautions against such distractions by turning off your phone, deactivating notifications, and living the moment with your child. How different people can focus. In order to be a productive worker, You need to handle distractions well and learn the art of focusing on important things. If you're working in the service industries, the following tips might help. When you serve your customers, do that and that alone. Be fully present when you do your job and disregard other problems, emails, or mobile phones. Deal with one customer at a time. Try to find time to refocus in the middle of your work. Clear distractions or an hour or so. Learn to let go of some tasks on hand by automating them, delegating them, posting an FAQ section on your site, outsourcing help, or breaking down the services. Be focused in your personal life. Learn to disconnect once you're off work and find peace of mind. To avoid interruptions from your coworkers or staff as a boss, you might want to take note of these pointers. Don't make the decisions all by yourself. Let others do it too. Set parameters on when to interrupt you for decision making. Schedule your unavailability. Set times when you're not to be interrupted. Appoint a second in command to help you make decisions. Set expectations as to when people can interrupt you when you're working. Focus on every problem and every interruption that comes your way. Focus on life outside of work and enjoy the peace and quiet while indulging in your creative hobbies and interests. But how do you deal with your boss if he or she is the source of your problem? Your boss might expect you to answer your calls, text, or emails, to pull off long hours, or to work overnight. You have to deal with your boss by doing these things. Discuss your desire to focus with your boss. Convince him or her about how finding focus will improve your creativity and productivity. Determine the factors that you can control and those that you can't. Change those controllable factors to help you focus. For instance, you can clear your desk or computer desktop if you can't do away. With ignoring emails, at least don't distract yourself by surfing the web. Try to work out of the office. If you have the liberty to work at home or anywhere else without distractions, do so. Show your boss that all these changes to find focus really work. Find another job. If your boss doesn't approve of your pursuit of focus, consider changing jobs. If you do not find unsupportive people around you, people who do not approve of all the changes that you want to make to find focus, don't force them. Let them understand how important it is for you to be able to focus. Make sure to ask for their help. If you can't convince them with words, show them an example. Show them how the changes you plan to find focus will work. Settle with the changes that you can make with a lack of support for other people. How to change office culture. Modern offices boast of being productive and efficient. However, workers are constantly interrupted by distractions, from emails and IMs to calls, calendar requests, meetings, and office chatter. All these distractions cause information overload and stress. They might even end up doing nothing at the end of the day while paying attention to a lot of distractions. You can create a more productive environment at work if you advise the employees to do these things. Tell them to figure out what to do for the day and settle with 3 to 5 important tasks. They should do this thing in the morning. They should clear their desks and tune out all distractions to work on the first important task. They can devote about 30 minutes of your day to go through email and voicemail. They should focus on completing the rest of the tasks with few interruptions. They should meet with you to look back on their day, discuss problems, and settle what tomorrow's task should be. They should wear headphones to drown out distractions. They can work at home for about 2 days per week, but make them report to you all the tasks that they have finished for the day. They should learn how to disconnect, starting with your effort to shut down the internet for a few hours every day. Soon enough, all these changes will accumulate to major changes that will help you and even the people around you find focus. Just make sure to show them how it should be done. Conclusion. Being focused is a great challenge in these modern times when distraction comes from all sides, but you should acknowledge that the sources of distraction, from mobile phones and the internet to people trying to talk to you, are things that you can't also do completely without. This means that you just need to make do with these distractions by learning to limit their stream and their impact on your life. It helps to be fully devoted to the cause of finding focus by showing willingness to make both minor and major changes. You can start small anyway by clearing your desk, avoiding clutter in the office or at home, or testing the waters by disconnecting a few minutes to a few hours every day. When you're strong enough to focus for hours or even for days, knowing that you won't lose or miss anything significant for doing so, you would see the real beauty of a peaceful and quiet environment. This, in turn, will help you become a more productive and creative individual. If you want to make an even bigger change, you might want to help people find focus in their lives too. Start by telling them how it's doing wonders for you. Then, show them how you're enjoying life now as a more focused person. If they refuse to give in, be patient and make do with the change that they can take. As what this audiobook has discussed, learn to go with the flow. Don't control the uncontrollable. Be flexible. Be strong in the face of distractions. Only then will you be able to focus and be a productive member of your home, office, and society in general. This has been Effective Entrepreneurship, the essential guide to focusing for entrepreneurs. Learn effective ways to have tunnel vision and stay focused on your goals to achieve success. Written by Steph Raymond. Read by Todd Studer. This is The Accounting Game, the ultimate guide to accounting basics. Learn all about financials that every business owner should know and become your very own accountant. Written by Hans Angrove. Read by Todd Studer. Introduction. Anyone who's worked in an office at some point or another has had to go to accounting. They're the people who pay and send out the bills that keep the business running. They do a lot more than that, though. Sometimes referred to as bean counters, they also keep an eye on profits, costs, and losses. Unless you're running your own business and acting as your own accountant, you'd have no way of knowing just how profitable or not your business is without some form of accounting. No matter what business you're in, even if all you do is balance a checkbook, that's still accounting. It's part of even a kid's life. Saving an allowance, spending it all at once, these are accounting principles. What are some other businesses where accounting is critical? Well, farmers need to follow careful accounting procedures. Many of them run their farms year to year by taking loans to plant their crops. If it's a good year, a profitable one, then they can pay off their loan. If not, they might have to carry the loan over and accrue more interest charges. Every business and every individual needs to have some kind of accounting system in their lives. Otherwise, the finances can get away from them. They don't know what they've spent or whether they can expect a profit or a loss from their business. Staying on top of accounting, whether it's for a multi-billion-dollar business or for a personal checking account, is a necessary activity on a daily basis if you're smart. Not doing so can mean anything from a bounced check or posting a loss to a company's shareholders. Both scenarios can be equally devastating. Accounting is basically information, and this information is published periodically in business as a profit and loss statement or an income statement. Chapter 1. Accounting Principles. If everyone involved in the process of accounting followed their own system, or no system at all, there'd be no way to truly tell whether a company was profitable or not. Most companies follow what are called Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, or GAAP, and there are huge tomes in libraries and bookstores devoted to just this one topic. Unless a company states otherwise, anyone reading a financial statement can make the assumption that the company has used GAAP. If GAAP are not the principles used for preparing financial statements, then a business needs to make clear which other form of accounting they're used and are bound to avoid using titles in its financial statement that could mislead the person examining it. GAAP are the gold standard for preparing financial statement. Not disclosing that it has used principles other than GAAP makes a company legally liable for any misleading or misunderstood data. These principles have been fine-tuned over decades and have effectively governed accounting methods and the financial reporting systems of businesses. Different principles have been established for different types of business entities, such for profit and not-for-profit companies, governments, and other enterprises. GAAP are not cut and dried, however. They're guidelines, and as such, are often open to interpretation. Estimates have to be made at times, and they require good faith efforts toward accuracy. You've surely heard the phrase creative accounting, and this is when a company pushes the envelope a little or a lot to make their business look more profitable than it might actually be. This is also called massaging the numbers. This can get out of control and quickly turn into accounting fraud, which is also called cooking the books. The results of these practices can be devastating and ruin hundreds and thousands of lives, as in the case of Enron, Rite Aid, and others. Chapter 2. Basic Accounting Principles. Accounting has been defined as by Professor of Accounting at the University of Michigan, William A. Patton, as having one basic function: facilitating the administration of economic activity. This function has two closely related phases: 1. Measuring and arraying economic data, and 2. Communicating the results of this process to interested parties. As an example, a company's accountants periodically measure the profit and loss for a month, a quarter, or a fiscal year, and publish these results in a statement of profit and loss that's called an income statement. These statements include elements such as accounts receivable, what's owed to the company, and accounts payable, what the company owes. It can also get pretty complicated with subjects like retained earnings and accelerated depreciation. This at the higher levels of accounting and in the organization. Much of accounting, though, is also concerned with basic bookkeeping. This is the process that records every transaction, every bill paid, every dime owed, every dollar and cent spent and accumulated. But the owners of the company, which can be individual owners or millions of shareholders, are most concerned with the summaries of these transactions contained in the financial statement. The financial statement summarizes a company's assets. A value of an asset is what it cost when it was first acquired. The financial statement also records what the sources of the assets were. Some assets are in the form of loans that have to be paid back. Profits are also an asset of the business. In what's called double entry bookkeeping, the liabilities are also summarized. Obviously, a company wants to show a higher amount of assets to offset the liabilities and show a profit. The management of these two elements is the essence of accounting. There is a system for doing this. Not every company or individual can devise their own systems for accounting. The result would be chaos. Chapter 3. Accounting. All businesses need one. As business becomes more and more global and complexities continue to emerge, certain fields have gained prominence in today's career market. One of these is accounting. Accounting is a very conceptual career or task, more of a question of information handling than any hands-on approach to product development. However, as trends change, accounting is becoming a little more diverse and less just a question of crunching numbers. These days, there are specific kinds of accountants who do separate jobs as part of a given company. There are accountants who monitor spending and resource use. These are called audit accountants. Then there are other professionals who use accounting information to guide procedures and to facilitate decision-making. These are referred to as management accountants. One could say that while audit accountants are involved in bookkeeping history, management accountants is a process of looking to the future to try to foresee events and plan for these in terms of a company's resources. Ledgers and classic ideas of accounting belong more to audit accounting, while management accounting deals directly with the machinery of a firm. Both positions require people skills and analytical skills. Both types of accountants need to know how to use computers. Spreadsheet software like Microsoft Excel is popular in keeping accounting information available in a flexible format. As to the issue of how the two are related, audit accounting is often considered more essential to small businesses. A small business may not need any more oversight than the owner or general manager can provide, but someone always had to keep the books. Also, in management, the old adage may apply that too many cooks spoil the broth. Management accounting seems to be a more useful role in large companies that need many consultants to micromanage a variety of projects. In general, accounting is becoming a popular career choice. Some may shy away from it due to an aversion to how accountants have been described in the past. Some people don't like numbers and consider accounting work to be unbearably dry or tedious. Others, however, have already completed their degree to become a CPA, Certified Public Accountant, and these may find themselves well placed in high-profile audit accounting positions. For others, management accounting provides a new look at a classic career. Either way, the study of this valuable field can be a good way to get into a certain kind of company. Many companies are hiring temporary accountants, and the abundance of opportunities means that employers and university graduates may be able to find each other through the phenomenon of accounting, as the majority of businesses turn their efforts toward the study of resource allocation, asset management, and more simply, crunching numbers. Chapter 4. All about personal accounting. If you have a checking account, of course you balance it periodically to account for any differences between what's in your statement and what you wrote down for checks and deposits. Many people do it once a month when their statement is mailed to them, but with the advent of online banking, you can do it daily if you're the sort whose banking tends to get away from them. You balance your checkbook to note any charges in your checking account that you haven't recorded in your checkbook. Some of these can include ATM fees, overdraft fees, special transaction fees, or low balance fees, if you're required to keep a minimum balance in your account. You also balance your checkbook to record any credits that you haven't noted previously. They might include automatic deposits, or refunds, or other electronic deposits. Your checking account might be an interest-bearing account, and you want to record any interest that's earned. You also need to discover if you've made any errors in your record keeping, or if the bank has made any errors. Another form of accounting that we all dread is the filing of annual federal income tax returns. Many people use a CPA to do their returns. Others do it themselves. Most forms include the following items. Income. Any money you've earned from working or owning assets, unless there are specific exemptions from income tax. Personal exemptions. This is a certain amount of income that is excused from tax. Standard deduction. Some personal expenditures or business expenses can be deducted from your income to reduce the taxable amount of income. These expenses include items such as interest paid on your home mortgage, charitable contributions, and property taxes. Taxable income. This is the balance of income that's subject to taxes after personal exemptions and deductions are factored in. Chapter 5. Everyday Accounting. By the end of the day, imagine the amount of money you have spent. Just think for a second. Some of you may not have spent much at all, if anything. The rest of us generally spend more than we need to, or at least we spend more than we realize. This all adds up, sometimes to financial heights that incrementally sap our wallets. While it may not seem significant, this price analogy should quell potential disinterest. People find it unsavory to purchase a $30 item each day, yet they easily spend $30 incrementally, perhaps because they are not as aware. They are not aware, for example, of their fixed spending, insurance, payments, bills. Simple everyday accounting helps to raise awareness. Save money by logging day-to-day expenses, especially expendable purchases. Either log purchases into a pocket notebook or simply remember them inside your head. Accounting simply entails adding up purchases, either in print or no print. Do this for one routine a day, and, depending on your habits, you may be surprised. The psychology behind our purchases lay in how cheap we perceive things to be. So, while we may feel guilty in buying a single $30 item, we would feel less so with 3 $10 items. Regardless of getting more bang for your buck, the sum total still balances out. The difficulty comes in the temptation of the $10 items, because it leads us to spend more than we like. This can be a financial strain concerning day-to-day purchases. Finances, usually reserved for long-term matters like insurance and payments. The principal vice points to food. The more food purchased, the more money spent, the greater calories gained. A scientist need not mention the symbiosis of food spending and weight gain. This example of food purchases should be the most obvious habit of anyone with even a meager amount of disposable income. Unless you pack your meals from home, accounting for your food purchases can be a clear indication of your spending habits. In fact, it may compel a person to pack more often. In theory, this can lead to weight loss, as people tend to be less picky with what they bring home versus the plethora of fast food chains and hearty restaurants. Give it a shot, and likewise, you may be in for a surprise. The goal of everyday accounting, to fatten your wallets or to keep your wallets fat. The act of spending should not be passive. It has an immediate effect on lifestyle because it brings awareness to everyday excesses. It makes common sense to save money, and the way to account for your disposable income is to factor in the amount you make from your job. With the aforementioned example of food, add in other daily expenses like gas. With the information provided by your log of one routine day or week, calculate the total amount of money spent. Now, with the sum total, find out what percent it eats up from your average paycheck. Yes, disposable income is disposable income. Yet what sacrifices can be made? What corners can be cut? Chances are the most expensive, routine items from your log are the expendable or replaceable items. Just be sure to optimize your purchases and keep that wallet stuffed. Becoming aware of what you buy may lead to a rewarding change in lifestyle and will alleviate conflicts with fixed spending variables like bills and insurance. Chapter 6. Online Accounting. Accounting in the USA has seen lots of changes. There was a time when the accounting was more of a bookkeeping done in huge ledgers and was the purview of select few. It's not so anymore. Accounting is much more widely accepted as a business function, and general people also look for the accounting details of the firms they are associated with. Also, a lot more transparency is required now. Keeping in line with the development of IT and other technologies, the accounting is also now based on the Internet and has taken wide strides. Online accounting services, viewed as merely experimental only a few years ago, are now becoming the runaway business. As such, accounting industry has been little slow to adopt the newer technology and has not left fully its love for the pen and pencil work. The SU accounting industry has seen a new trend of outsourcing its work now. All these have been forced the industry to adopt the online accounting. The Internet, as well as other technologies, are used now to build more efficient bookkeeping systems. Also, it's becoming more cost-efficient for larger firms to outsource the work. Outsourcing is very easy with work being delivered online. It's much more cost-effective as well as fast, too. The shift from the practice where clients paid the accounting firms as per the billable hours to a fixed fee-based system is forcing the accounting firms to deliver efficient work in a cost-effective manner. This means that they cannot any longer cover their inefficient work by merely putting in more time into the project. This also favored the online accounting practices much. Value billing has forced accounting professionals to become more efficient. Online accounting very effectively cuts short the time taken to transfer the time taken by information exchange between the clients and accounting firm. The seamless transfer is far more efficient and much faster. The accounting firm has dynamic access to the sourcing documents of the client's firms and can access any time any information it requires from its client's side. The online accounting system also allows the accounting firm to access the client data from faraway locations with a few clicks on the internet. The time-sensitive financial data is readily available to the accounting firm. Other than the speed and cost of services, online accounting enables better customer service and more reliability and trust. Accounting firms recently have been exposed as in cahoots with some very big clients, committing serious financial crimes. In this scenario, the new practice builds more transparency also. The online accounting practice also provides for more timely communication between the firm and clients. Since the client has more immediate access to information and to time-sensitive documents with online accounting practices, questions and problems can be more easily identified and resolved. This translates into increased profits as well as happier clients. Since the client gets better service, they get more value for the money they spend. It is generally quite cheaper for the business owner to outsource the bookkeeping and accounting than to hire and supervise it in-house. Savings for the business owner can be as much as 30% for some clients. Online accounting is great for such services. The accounting firms also charge a fee fixed on a monthly basis, almost 5 times the average monthly fee based on billable hours they charged earlier. Generally, the various online accounting processes available are customized for their users where they can choose the menu of features they like. Online accounting is an excellent tool for accounting and bookkeeping, one that is helpful for both the accounting firms as well as the clients. Chapter 7. Understanding Accounting Vocabulary. The following article is an excerpt from the free online course Using Finance and Accounting in Your Small Business. When you learn something new like accounting concepts and terms, it helps to create links between what you know and what you are trying to learn. In some ways, it is like learning a second language, and decoding the new word is part of the learning process. For example, trying to translate the Spanish word necesario, you might brainstorm with necessary, and you would be right. How about blanco? Blanco is like blank, which is like white. So blanco is Spanish for the color white. Try to make some logical connections about the accounting vocabulary. Take the word accounting and think about it. Really, the accounting system is a basic counting of what goes on in your business. Let's move on to transactions. Transactions are the business activities, or actions, that build day by day and become your expenses and income. Try to think about the term transactions. Actions are business activities, and trans means across or through. These are the basic building blocks of an accounting system. Transactions are to accounting like what raw materials are to a factory or gasoline is to your engine. The transactions are real, and how your accounting system handles them impacts your business. You must keep a record of your transactions to know how much money your business earned and how much money your business spent. Sounds obvious, right? Ask your bookkeeper or accountant how obvious some transactions are. It can get tricky quickly if you are not clear about what happened in the transaction and how you want it recorded. For example, if you were a carpenter, you might pay cash for a bucket of nails to assemble handmade wooden deck chairs. The nail purchase is a transaction and will have to be counted as a business expense. In your workshop, you then assemble the chair using a pneumatic nail gun, sandpaper, stain, and varnish. The next day, you deliver the chair to a customer in a neighboring town. You hand the customer a sales slip and then write you a check. That too is a transaction. It is easy to see the transactions when money is spent or received. Did you, however, see the other transactions? The stain and varnish, nail gun use, and chair parts were also part of the transaction. What about the gasoline and truck used to deliver the chair? Did you have any leftover nails, or did you use them all? Maybe there is a little life left in the sandpaper, but it is not new anymore, is it? If we do not account for those costs, we are missing a piece of the picture, an important piece, that could affect how much money you have at the end of the year. In all your business activities, try to think in terms of transactions, because once you can identify what transactions occur in your business, you will be able to organize them into a meaningful manner. Right now, take a minute to list what transactions occur in your business each day, week, or year. Always thinking in terms of transactions might seem miserly, but it is important to be cost conscious and honest with yourself about all your transactions. Your success in business depends on it. Some transactions are initiated by customers and suppliers. Other transactions can take place inside your business or back office. The bookkeeping department creates transactions when they adjust your books for year-end considerations like machinery depreciation or inventory shrinkage. What is depreciation? Let's say you bought a brand new car, a 2017 Professor Now Coupe, and you spent $27,500 on this new car. Next year, the car has some dings on the doors, wear on the tires, stains on the seats, and 20,000 miles on the engine. You know your car is not worth $27,500 anymore. This means your car has lost value or depreciated. When it comes to business-owned equipment, you can deduct this lost value as a business expense. Sure, you did not spend cash on the lost value, but with depreciation, this is a transaction your bookkeeper or accountant will force through at the end of the year. On taxes, it helps you by increasing your expenses like all other cash transactions. Of course, the other side of depreciation means your equipment is not worth as much anymore. In order for you to get a really clear picture of how your business is operating, you need to be diligent and thoughtful about what your real expenses are. Depreciation is a real expense, even though it is not a cash transaction. Learning to see transactions for what they are takes practice and contemplation. Transactions affect so many areas of your business that you must analyze the daily details so you can piece together the big picture. Chapter 8. Personal Accounting. The following article is an excerpt from the free online course Using Finance and Accounting in Your Small Business. If you have a checking account, of course, you balance it periodically to account for any differences between what's in your statement and what you wrote down for checks and deposits. Many people do it once a month when their statement is mailed to them, but with the advent of online banking, you can do it daily if you're the sort whose banking tends to get away from them. You balance your checkbook to note any charges in your checking account that you haven't recorded in your checkbook. Some of these can include ATM fees, overdraft fees, special transaction fees, or low balance fees, if you're required to keep a minimum balance in your account. You also balance your checkbook to record any credits that you haven't noted previously. They might include automatic deposits, or refunds, or other electronic deposits. Your checking account might be an interest-bearing account, and you want to record any interest that's earned. You also need to discover if you've made any errors in your record keeping or if the bank has made any errors. Another form of accounting that we all dread is the filing of the annual federal income tax returns. Many people use a CPA to do their returns. Others do it themselves. Most forms include the following items. Income. Any money you've earned from working or owning assets, unless there are specific exemptions from income tax. Personal exemptions. This is a certain amount of income that is excused from tax. Standard deduction. Some personal expenditures or business expenses can be deducted from your income to reduce the taxable amount of income. These expenses include items such as interest paid on your home mortgage, charitable contributions, and property taxes. Taxable income. This is the balance of income that's subject to taxes after personal exemptions and deductions are factored in. Chapter 9. Accounting and Accountancy. Accountancy is the profession, and accounting it, the methods by which accountants measure, track, and report on financial information so that resource allocation decisions can be made by, well, whoever the decision makers are. Oftentimes when I meet someone for the second or third time, they say, "Aren't you in accounting?" Well, I am into accounting, which is the methodology and measuring aspect of my work. The profession as a whole is better labeled as accountancy. For a small business owner's personal finances, for example, I may be measuring the finances of a few people, the family, and reporting the necessary information to the small business owner. In this situation, the decision maker is the small business owner, and his decisions involve deciding how much money he has to put toward family necessities. Generally speaking, there are two main types of accounting. There is financial accounting and there is auditing. Financial accounting typically involves processing of financial information about a business operation where information is recorded, organized, summarized, interpreted, and finally communicated. Auditing, on the other hand, is that process that an independent auditor examines accounting records and financial statements so that he or she can express a professional opinion about the financial records and answer questions about projections. At the heart of accountancy lies the need to take stock of the day-to-day state of various sales and expenses. In the modern world, when many contracts are partially fulfilled at varying times, bookkeeping is the only way to know where you and your business stand in the greater scheme of things. If you operate your own small business, you may be able to do just fine with some accounting software. Take a look around for some flowchart templates. These can make monthly financial recording and reporting, dare I say it, fun. Simply enter in the various types of income and expenses, then each subsection updates the appropriate fields. Before you know it, you've got proof that all bills have been allotted for, and you've got your bottom line. If you find you can manage your business finances on your own, then by all means stick with a system that you know works for you. If, however, you start running into complications that make it hard for you to see where discrepancies are coming from, it may be time to enlist the services of a professional accountant. Memory bus is also called an address bus or front-side bus, and both buses are high-speed digital superhighways. Access methods and speed are two of the fundamental technical differences between memory and mass storage devices. All memory sizes and storage capacities will inevitably be exceeded with advances in technology over time. Cache memory is a special type of internal memory used by many central processing units to increase their performance or throughput. Some of the information in the main memory is duplicated in the cache memory, which is slightly slower but of much greater capacity than the processor registers, and faster but much smaller than main memory. Multi-level cache memory is also commonly used. Primary cache is the smallest, fastest, and closest to the processing device. Secondary cache is larger and slower, but still faster and much smaller than main memory. Semiconductor memory uses semiconductor-based integrated circuits to store information. A semiconductor memory chip may contain millions of tiny transistors or capacitors. Both volatile and non-volatile forms of semiconductor memory exist. In modern computers, primary storage almost exclusively consists of dynamic volatile semiconductor memory or dynamic random access memory. Since the turn of the century, a type of non-volatile semiconductor memory, known as flash memory, has steadily gained share as offline storage for home computers. Non-volatile semiconductor memory is also used for secondary storage in various advanced electronic devices and specialized computers. Chapter 10. Accounting for Home-Based Businesses. Home-based businesses are still businesses, and as such, a financial accounting is needed for several reasons. Taxes are one of the most important reasons for a home business to keep accounting records to show money made and money paid. There are several ways to do this, and your knowledge of accounting practices is not a roadblock. Some small business owners think that since they work from home, income and expenses do not need to be tracked, but this is totally untrue. Keeping account books and records can be done with a variety of accounting software available for sale. This type of software has easy-to-understand spreadsheets that make it very easy for a small home business owner to balance books and get an idea of the profitability of their home business. The software for these applications is made by a variety of trusted manufacturers. And some of these programs even have fields for what important tax return information for the end of the year. These software programs greatly simplify bookkeeping for home businesses, even for some with no accounting experience. Some home business owners prefer to do things the old-fashioned way, with a pencil and paper. With computer hackers and viruses out there, some owners would prefer not to keep their financial records on their computer. In this case, a general accounting ledger with 3 columns will work as effectively as the expensive software. One column can represent money that is received for the home business. One column can be used for money that is paid out on behalf of the home business. And one column can be used to keep the running balance of your home business. This accounting system is easy to use and follow because each day, every transaction is recorded in the ledger. The ledger is also an important record for the tax preparation of your home business at the end of your fiscal year. Accounting records are a very important part of running a home business, whether you purchase software or just an old-fashioned ledger. Keeping track of the payments received and sent on behalf of your home business is a very important step in running a successful home-based business. A lot of home business owners do not worry about accounting in relation to their home business, and this can be a fatal mistake for you and your home business. Make sure that you keep track of the accounting for your home business, and whether you use software or the old pencil and paper method, keep records of your financial dealings. This will have you a lot of time and trouble at the end of the year.